Hey there, so I've been working on a sort of modular-ish dungeon system for use with various board games like Dungeons and Dragons and such. It's all 3D printable models that I made in Blender, and I've been basically just toying around with different model ideas like, we got walls and a treasure chest with an openable, what do you call that, lid. We got some bunkers. We got swords and stone. At least that's what those are supposed to be. A doorway. This is actually supposed to be a potion, but I could see it being used as like a fountain or something. This piece over here. And then we got different types of tiles. One is supposed to be stackable. Depending on print quality settings, it may or may not actually stack. And one other one is not stackable. And for the heck of it, I decided to come up with a special type of battle dice, so to speak. So it's just like a D6, but like with a blocky sword pattern, a blocky like cross like X symbol thing, a blocky shield symbol, and that's, I think that's all the symbols are on it. I mean, it's a D6, so you can only put so much on it. This is just the first set of them. There's a whole bunch of different wall options, corner walls. We got like these walls with these like pillars or columns in them, open walls, walls with like X's on them, walls with windows and things like that, right? And a perfectly plain wall as well. And this barricade wall piece, and this wall piece is like armored or something. I don't know. I made all these models in this particular STL file here. Yeah, I made all these in Blender myself. I'm not the best modeler. I kind of suck at it, to be honest. But I thought I would come up with some very basic designs, like extremely basic designs and simplistic, because I figure if I want to make them look more realistic in the future or more detailed in the future, I could always go back and edit the files. But for now, I wanted a super simplistic set of dungeon designs. Mostly, these are mostly just going to be used, at least when I use them, I'm mostly going to be using them for like to build a little display dungeon. I mean, it's not going to be pretty looking because it's not like realistic looking models, but theoretically, you could also use these to make your own little dungeon yourself, like a more what do you call it, like a playable one. That's kind of what I was going for, was like a dungeon that would play more like Dungeons and Dragons, or like a dungeon, just something you can play with either through an actual board game system or tabletop game system or whatever, role-playing game system, like Dungeons and Dragons, for example, or what have you. Or you could always just, like I do, and just enjoy the part of it where you make the models, print the models, and then use them to just kind of design dungeon layouts that at the end of the day, if you're like me, you're never going to have anyone to play the dungeon with. But I do really like making the layouts for some reason. Think of it this way. You know those like old video games that had like track editors, Trackmania or whatever, where you would like make a racetrack? I like to do that, but with dungeons. And also with racetracks, to be fair, but especially with dungeons and racetracks. So, I guess it'll be more like that Dungeon Keeper game, or Dungeons, whatever it's called. Are they on Dungeons 4 already? I think they are. Dungeon 3 or Dungeons 4, whatever. You know, one of those dungeon builder games, but I like to do the same basic concept, but with the physical thing. I guess the better way to say it is I like to build with dungeon pieces in the way that a Lego fan, an adult fan of Lego, which I also happen to be, would play with Lego, right? The same concept. It's just, I don't really want to use Lego for my dungeon. I mean, I could, and I have done that, but there's pros and cons, obviously, to using Lego for a dungeon, be it for display purposes or for actual play purposes or what have you. I don't know, my favorite part is always building the thing, like building the dungeon and then setting a whole bunch of little figures around it, be they, I don't know, like official D&D miniatures or 3D printed miniatures from different places, or I don't know, old HeroScape, because I love HeroScape. I do so much. I haven't decided yet, but I'm thinking of making like some way to make this compatible with HeroScape tiles, but we'll see. I don't know if I'm going to go that far, because like I made these little square tiles that you could use for the dungeon. They're super simple. They're nothing special. I'm sure a million people have made their own tiles that look exactly like these, because all they are is little squares, right? But out of everything in this particular collection of models, and I did have 3D printed examples of some of them, but for various reasons, I'm reprinting the entire set, because I had printed out most of the set before, and I rushed the printing process, and so they didn't all come out the way I wanted them to, or the way they would come out if someone who knew what they were doing better than I do were to print them, right? So, these are the parts that are done so far, and I've been thinking about making multiple assortments of these. So, like, like we got the sword and stone, we got the bunkers, we got the tiles, we got the potion, we got the treasure chest, we got the walls, we got this specialty D6 dice, battle dice, attack dice, defense dice thing I made, doorway, all that stuff. But I'm thinking of making other parts that are something that you can easily customize. Like, these are fairly customizable, just because, like, I have no problem whatsoever with letting other people modify these, because, like, they're such simple designs. It's like, literally, I do not care, like, what other people decide to do with these. They can do anything they want with these models. I'm totally cool with that. Make whatever you want. Change them into something that looks completely different if you want. It's fine by me. Because you could probably, I guarantee the majority of people that see these models are going to look at them and be like, oh, I could do better than that. Because you probably could do better than that. You could do better than I could. I'm sure you probably could, because I'm not a great modeler by any stretch of the imagination. It's just the type of pieces that I wanted personally, I couldn't find. I wanted online, and don't get me wrong, there are some pieces like that people do make that are nice. But for all intents and purposes, what I needed was an assortment of parts that were super simplistic, like super simplistic in design, but still like provided the base functions that I want them to provide. Like, for example, these swords in stone over here, which are really just like a sword in like a weird circular shape, right? That's like a token piece you could put in your dungeon, like, hey, you get to this, you get the sword or something, or you get to this and you get the sword in the stone, and then you have to bring it back to like I don't know, a blacksmith or someone who can help you break the stone off the sword. I don't know. And then, like, the bunkers, part of my reason for making these bunkers was kind of like to put like Warhammer guys in there or something, just for the heck of it, like Space Marines or whatever. Yeah. But this is just the assortment that I've been developing in Blender myself. I was using stuff other people had made for a while. I must have downloaded like well over 50 things from Colt 3D, I believe it was. And I was using a lot of that for a while, mostly display purposes and a little bit of play purposes here and there, but mostly display. Because the really nice stuff is that the other artists make is just so nice. I love the stuff they make, but I wanted to try my hand at making some of my own parts. So yeah, it's just like, you can scale them up to whatever size you want. If you wanted to have these files yourself, I'm releasing them for free online. So, like, if you want them, you can have them. I don't know why you would want them. They're not that good. But, hey, if you have an idea to improve upon them, or, add your own little touch, or if they can serve the purpose that you have for stuff like this, say you want to make your own little dungeon and you want it to look simplistic, or you want to add details to these that'll make them look better, go ahead. Like, I would actually really love to see someone take these models here that I made and make them better. I would actually appreciate that, and I would praise you, like, basically to the sun and back if you took my models and, like, because you just felt like they were something you could use, and then you made your own spin on it. Like, do whatever you want with them. Yeah, they're every bit as much yours as they are mine at this point, because I uploaded them to Cult 3D, and they're free, completely free. I'm not gonna. I would not charge for models this low poly. You know what I mean? But I did release them just in case someone wants to use them for whatever. I don't know. I really think the best piece here is probably the treasure chest with the removable lid, but let me know what part you like the best. I'm gonna print out some more examples of them, like physical printed examples of them, 3D printed, because I had 3D printed examples of most of them before, and well, for various reasons, I scrapped some of the 3D printed versions. And others that I didn't scrap, I had to print some things wrong when I printed them, so they didn't quite turn out right. There's only one of these, sort of two, maybe three, that I printed out physical examples of that I had the settings for the print the way they should have been. And, like, the settings for printing models like this is, well, it varies based on personal preference, but I got a little impatient and tried to print too fast and tried to print on too low of a setting, and, well, long story short, I should not print on really low settings, and I also should have lowered the Z offset on my printer. I mean, I couldn't tell you how long I had prints coming out in such a strange way, and it took me forever to figure out, oh, my Z offset's too low, or it was too high. I don't think it was too low. No, the problem was the Z offset was too high. Or at least that's what appears to be the problem, because I was having issues with adhesion. I said that wrong. Adhesion and stringing. And I had those problems for quite a while, and I couldn't figure it out, and I think I finally figured it out, and it was simpler than I thought it would have been. And now I feel stupid. So it seems to me that the problem is probably fixed. And I did print out a new example, a new 3D printed physical example of the little battle dice that I made here. So I'll probably upload some photos of that, probably to, like, Colts 3D, or even here on YouTube, and maybe some videos, because I don't know, like I said, my favorite piece is either the treasure chest or the dice D6 thing. So, like, I'm debating between those two parts, because I think I put the most effort into those two. So yeah, that's all I really got to say about this particular set. So while I'm printing out more 3D printed examples of the rest of the stuff in the set, all the stuff in this particular set here that you're looking at, I'm going to get started on some Blender files for a second set of parts that could be used for whatever you want, just like these. They're going to be compatible, and I'm planning, when that second set is fully modeled, at least to the extent that these are, that'll get released for free as well, because I model in such a very simplistic style that, like, I don't think it's worth trying to sell them, because who would buy these models? I mean, let's be honest. I know in my heart that no one would want to pay for these models, no matter how many of them I make, because let's face it, they are super, super simple models. They are awfully low quality in comparison to the kind of stuff you can get from better artists. You know what I'm saying? So I would not even consider trying to sell these personally myself, because I don't think they're worth anything. Like, at least not the printer file. But if you do print some of these, I mean, like, hey, I'm totally fine with you like printing them out and making any changes you want or need to them. And like, if you like them enough and you know someone else that likes them, hey, go ahead and sell the finished product after you're printing. That's fine by me. I'm just doing this as a hobby. So, like, I mean, if I ever get the skills to make a model that I or others would assume or deem worthy of selling, we'll see. But, like, I don't think I'm ever going to have that kind of skill with a 3D printer or even with Blender. I mean, I model everything in Blender. I've messed with Tinkercad a bit, but the models I made in that, those are, like, stored somewhere else, and I don't really use them much. So, I don't know. I wanna eventually figure out how to do more textured tiles. Like, I have a couple ideas. I really do. I noticed you can take like a photo and like stretch it out a little bit in Ultimaker Cura. I hope I'm saying that right. And I got the idea, I haven't tried it yet, of taking a photo of the sidewalk in our backyard and then modifying it as a 3D model. Something to think about, because we have a sidewalk on that in our backyard that leads from the house to the garage that looks like it could make for good, like, ruined ground terrain for, like, a, I don't know, maybe Warhammer or maybe just a ruined city for any generic game, right? So I thought about just taking a photo of that and, like, turning it into a 3D model, because, like, I've imported just regular photos into Ultimaker Cura and then, like, scaled them, and then they just kind of look like a textured floor when you do that, which might be a way to make these tiles not look so plain. I'll have to try that sometime. I don't know if I'm gonna go through with that, but it's a possibility. But yeah, and if you have any like suggestions for stuff that you'd like to be added to this set, well, I mean, anything I make after this set is going to be in a second set. The one thing I wanted to add to this set was like some columns, like big pillars that could maybe hold up a second floor or something, and some stairs. I didn't add them to this set because, like, this set already takes up all this space. And I suppose I could release them individually, but, like, I don't think they're worth releasing individually because, like, you might as well just, like, if you're me, I print them all individually just because I'm impatient, can't wait for the whole thing to print at once. But if you wanted these for anything, I mean, I'm fine if you're printing out one at a time or printing them all at once, whatever floats your boat. That's okay with me. Yeah, I mean, like I said, these are free now. They're out there on the internet. Anybody can have them now. And I made them to basically share with the community. I ramble on too much. Sorry about that, but I like to talk about stuff when I make stuff because, honestly, it ain't that often anymore that I make something that I'm all that proud of. Especially something that I made entirely by myself. And for once, I've made enough models that can kind of serve some form of purpose in a way that, I don't know, I'm proud of what I made here. I really am. Not as much as I would be if I could have made them more detailed, but you know, it's a learning process, right? So I'm sticking with basic shapes and low poly type stuff for now. But yeah, the next set will include some stairs, probably, and some pillars, probably. I haven't really decided what's all going into the next set because I haven't really got working too much on the next set of pieces. So, this is set 1, and if you want it, there'll be a link either in the description or the comment section, or both, maybe. Probably just the description. I don't think you're supposed to put links in the comment section on YouTube, are you? I don't think you are. I'm not sure how that works. But no, I'm gonna put a link in the description to Cult 3D. So if you want to download these, you can. I still don't know why you would want to, because they're not that great. But like I said, I uploaded them just in case anyone would want to use them, because you never know. Maybe there's a piece in here someone would actually like. I mean, I do kind of really like this treasure chest piece over here. I think it might be the best piece in the set that I made, but it's really just like a square with a lid, so I don't know. And this like D6 battle defense dice thing. I don't know. I was actually kind of inspired by the defending and attacking dice from HeroScape for that, because those dice had a skull on certain sides and a shield on other sides, and one side was blank. Now, none of the sides on this one are blank, although I thought about making the bottom blank, so maybe it would print better. And it prints fine as is, especially if you know what you're doing, especially if you know what you're doing better than I do, because I don't know what I'm doing half the time. I just wing it. That's all I got to say for now, and, yeah, I guess maybe I'll see you in another video or something, and maybe I'll improve the models over time. We'll see. I'm hoping to make the models look nicer. And yeah, you can do whatever you want with these models. Like I said, I released them as a single STL file, as all one piece. But if anyone wants a singular piece as a single STL file, so they don't have to print them all at once, I can just give you that if you really want that. Like if you just want the treasure chest, maybe I'll consider uploading treasure chest separately or something. I don't know, or making an assortment of treasure chest. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. And I think I'm going to shut up now because I've been rambling on for too long, and I'm sure you hate my voice. So that's all I got to say, and yeah, you have a wonderful day, and sorry that my voice sounds terrible, and that I don't talk well. Alright, hey, I'm just glad you watched the video, especially if you made it to this point. And once again, before I sign off, I am sorry for rambling so long. But hey, thank you for watching. See you around. Bye for now.